She said, she'll take me anywhere, she'll take me anywhere, as long as she stays with me. She said, she'll take me anywhere, she'll take me anywhere, as long as I stay queen. Yes, yes, Molly's lips. Yes, yes, Molly's lips. Yes, yes, Molly's lips. Yes, yes, Molly's lips. Hey, Mean Matt here. Well, 2 years ago now, I made a video of New Year's Revolution 2005. Better late than never, I guess. So, this year, the end of 2025, I figured, yeah, let's talk about this. Would have been fitting to talk about the one line. Anyways, doesn't matter. This is New Year's Revolution 2006, and yeah, this was a good show. I mean, that's an understatement. I always say that. I always say 2006 was a good year, and I still stand by that. I mean, by this point, DX had broken up. You had what was going to be the starting of a good feud, obviously. I mean, there already was a good feud there, but like I said, it would continue for a couple of years. Here we go. We have on Heat, although I don't even think Heat existed at this point. You got Chavo Guerrero defeating Snitsky. And I mean, look, Snitsky was a good wrestler, a very good wrestler. I think the fact that they gave him that creepy gimmick, I always found that here's somebody that was on SmackDown as a creepy gimmick wrestler who liked to play with feet. And then, of course, the whole storyline with Lita and Kane. Whereas you have John Heidenreich on Raw and him doing a bunch of different things, and it was just weird. But yeah, so Chavo won this match. I'm not sure how. So we begin with this match for the Intercontinental title. You have Edge versus Ric Flair. Ric Flair being the Intercontinental Champion. Now, this was interesting. You know, you basically had Ric Flair in a road rage incident, and of course that was made public. Not sure why he wasn't stripped of the Intercontinental Championship, but kind of funny how Rob Van Dam and Sabre were busted for weed a year later, but this was basically nothing. Anyways, yeah, so this was made fun of. Adam basically made a parody of it, and then this match happened. It was fairly okay. I mean, Lita got put in a figure four, and Ric Flair, of course, got busted open by the briefcase after Edge broke up the figure four. And yeah, basically, not sure how, actually. Can't remember. Anyways, yeah, Rick won. It was a good back and forth though, but you'll see Edge sooner than later. You have the women's championship match. This rivalry started earlier in the year, and I thought it was pretty cool, but the WrestleMania match was actually not that bad. You have Trish Stratus versus Mickie James for the WWE Women's title. This basically seemed to be a one-woman ass-kicking, in my opinion. But, yeah, it took 2 chick kicks, and Trish won. And so there it is. I know that Mickie did hold the title at some point, but again, very psychotic character that she had, and I thought that was pretty cool. You know, looking back, I find that when the wrestlers were younger, they were the creepiest. I can't explain it, but got Jerry Lawler, who defeated Gregory Helms, not Shane Helms. And this was interesting. I mean, they both went at each other. Obviously, the King was more agile. And this is only, let's say, 7 years before his cardiac arrest. But this was actually very good. I think that Jerry was one of those guys that, as old as he was, he could still go. I don't think it would have been necessary to put a world title on him or anything like that, but he could still go. And he was obviously still doing commentary as well, so I feel like putting a title on him wouldn't be necessary, but yeah. This next match, I have no idea how this came about. I do know that Paul White's hand was busted up and it was taped up. You got Triple H versus The Big Show. This was really a lackluster. It really was. I mean, for a Triple H match, I mean, it was just like, okay, he takes the tape off of Big Show's hand. And then, you know, referee is at Big Show, whatever. Triple H goes on the outside, takes out the sledgehammer, mocks the Big Show at some point, and it was like, you know, he got his hand hurt as well, I guess, and yeah, basically, as you would figure, Triple H won. And so, like, alright. For, you know, somebody like Paul White or Paul Levesque, Triple H, whatever, I feel like this could have been much better, but especially, like I said in the beginning here, coming off of the DX run, it was like, yeah. Not a good way to end the year, I guess, in my opinion. So then you have Shelton Benjamin taking on Viscera, and of course, you have Mama Benjamin on Shelton's corner, which I can't remember what the actress's name was, but as a mama's boy myself, it's kind of cool to see something like that. Yeah, anyways. But you would think that Viscera would win. I mean, he did like 2 splashes on Shelton, but it ended up that Shelton did like a, I want to say Pele kick, but I'm not quite sure. He ended up getting the win. So that was cool. I mean, and I mentioned this before, like, I feel like Nelson Frazier I think if he lost a little bit of that weight, at least, he would have gone a little bit farther. But, you know, his untimely death, it is what it is. We have a bra and panties match. A gauntlet match, actually. You have Ashley Mazzaro, who defeated Candice Michelle, Maria, Tori Wilson, and Victoria. I mean, this was just okay. And it's unfortunate the circumstances that came with Ashley, because I felt like she was a good wrestler. I just felt like being misused, and it's almost the same thing as Daphne. I feel like there was a lot of misdiagnosed, like, trauma and stuff like that that really should have been fixed, but was not fixed, and, you know, she ended up taking her own life, and it just sucks. And now there's no two ways of putting it, but it just sucks. You know, mental health is very important, and yeah. So we have the Elimination Chamber match, which I was glad that they put it on here for New Year's resolution. I'm pretty sure that they should have. I think they did the next year do another Elimination Chamber for that match. So anyways, yeah, so you have John Cena versus Carlito versus Chris Masters versus Shawn Michaels versus Kane versus Kurt Angle. And yes, this, holy shit. Like, you had everything. It was bloody, it was brutal, it was... Like, Shawn Michaels obviously got busted open. I mean, I talk a lot about Ric Flair, who got busted open quite a bit in his matches, but Shawn Michaels got busted open. You know, Chris Masters did a Masters lock to, I think, Shawn Michaels, which Carlito gave him a low blow, which Chris remembered to.
What a fucking cup!
And then, of course, you know, Kane's a good wrestler. Like, they all beat the shit out of each other, even John Cena, but somehow, some way, John Cena ended up retaining.
Or did he?
Let me just go by this here, like, and sometimes I screw this up, but you got Shawn Michaels who eliminated Kurt Angle. You have Carlito and Chris Masters eliminating Kane. And then you have Carlito eliminated Michaels. Carlito eventually turns his back on Chris Masters for this match, because they were a tag team. And then John Cena eliminated Carlito. And yeah, so the match goes on. That John raises his hand. He's still the champion. But then Mr. McMahon comes out. And this is what I miss. Because back in WrestleMania 21, which was a year before this, you had the Money in the Bank. The first ever Money in the Bank. And you had Edge win the Money in the Bank match. And this was, you can win the Money in the Bank and have a match anytime you wanted. Anytime. So Edge waited a whole year, it seems. Almost a whole year. Because it was the rest of 2005 and then this year. So McMahon comes out, asks for the chamber to raise. And then Edge comes out with Lita, cashes in Money in the Bank, gets into the ring, the match starts. Does one spear, John kicks out. John gets up. Edge hits another spear, wins the match, becomes the new WWE champion. Now, for some reason, I remember thinking well, this isn't a huge deal. Like, that should be a big deal, right? Well, it would have been a big deal if maybe the next night Edge came out with another title! So let me get this straight. And this was talked about on WWE Untold. So, you have Edge saying that he wanted to take the WWE title, he wanted to make a new title. He said he went home, he drew up an art in the middle. It was his own creation. It wasn't going to be a spinner belt. That was not in the plans. Took it to Creative. Creative was, well, they kiboshed it basically. Vince kiboshed it. That was smart. No, we're just gonna put a fucking R right there. We're gonna spin it around. Eventually, they took the W, they just glued it. I understand you want to have new things, you want to make things fresh. That belt was the shits. It was okay for John Cena. But as soon as Edge won it, bring it back to the Undisputed title. Or hell, a new title. But you took that, you ran with it from 2005 to 2014, 13, whatever it was. And it was like, really? Because it was a toy. It didn't look like a belt. It didn't look like something that you could win. That looked like something you could be proud of. It looked like a fucking toy. And I get it. It's predetermined. The wrestling is predetermined. Yeah. But show some fucking dignity. Like I said, John Cena and Edge had some good matches in 2006. I believe it went all the way to 2008 or 9, whichever. But this was one of the best feuds, in my opinion, that John has had. And how fitting to do this video, because John Cena had retired a few weeks ago at Saturday Night's Main Event. Regardless of whether you liked the ending or not, the finish, it doesn't matter. But I feel like that was one of his best feuds. John Cena versus Edge, John Cena versus CM Punk. I think two in my bet. Well, you could throw in Chris Jericho, but John Cena and Edge has had a lot of good matches, and going forward, this would be a very good feud coming in this. You know, it is what it is. And so, this show is fine. I mean, the year prior was okay as well. I don't know, I just feel like sometimes, yeah, I obviously do forget things. But, oh, this wasn't, that doesn't matter. Albany, New York. But this was a good show, and I'm hoping next year I won't wait too long, or another 2 years rather. But you know, I thought I'd finish off this year with a video like this, and yeah, we'll talk to you next time. New Year's, baby. Bye.
So you know that them cutting WCW was a long time coming. How don't think that's the case at all. If you look at some of his earlier interviews, like